Hey, I'm Seth Sarkeesian, and some of you may already know me through writing for various different boxing websites in the past. I'm currently with itrboxing.com, and for those of you who are familiar with some of my work, you guys already know that I love to preview and break down upcoming fights. So today I decided to try something new, and I'm going to do an audio version of that. And, God willing, it goes well, and I will continue to do so. Today we're going to start off by previewing and breaking down the upcoming Sergey Kovalev versus Vyacheslav Shabranskyy fight. This fight is for the WBO light heavyweight world title, and basically it's a chance for Sergey Kovalev to reclaim his world title that he lost to Andre Ward, and it's a chance for him to get back on top and move on to bigger and better things. And it's also a great opportunity for Shabranskyy to win his first world title, which I know he's been wanting to do for quite some time. Now, let's start off with Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev is a former unified light heavyweight world champion who has a record of 30 wins and 2 losses with 26 knockouts. He's 6 feet tall and has a 72.5-inch reach according to BoxRec. He debuted in 2009 and he's currently 34 years old. Now, he holds wins over guys like Nathan Cleverly, Bernard Hopkins, Jean Pascal twice, Ismail Salak, and the list goes on and on. Gabriel Campillo. So Sergey Kovalev is and has been a proven fighter in the sport of boxing for quite some time, and he has been regarded as the best light heavyweight for a few years up until the 2 Andre Ward fights. Now, I want to talk a little bit about those Andre Ward fights because it's important. In those fights, we got answers to questions that we maybe didn't know beforehand about Kovalev. For example, we found out that he's nowhere near as effective on the inside as he is on the outside. And we also found out that, especially in the second Andre Ward fight, that he can mentally crack. Now, no matter what you think about the outcomes of those 2 fights, we clearly saw that Kovalev needs space to operate. He needs to be in his punching range at all times. And he has a great jab. Sergey Kovalev has one of the most underrated jabs in the sport of boxing. If you let him fight from the outside or from distance, and you let him work off his jab, you are going to get your ass beat no matter who you are. That's pretty much how it's going to go. Andre Ward knew this and he's smart. So he took the fight to the inside, where Kovalev is basically ineffective or not nearly as good as he is on the outside. So Andre Ward geographically took the fight and made it an inside fight because he knew that Kovalev needs room to operate. And if you give him that room, it's bad news. Kovalev also could obviously crack with both hands. He has excellent punching power, and he's got decent durability, even though we've seen him get hurt to the body a few times. Now, going back to the second Andre Ward fight, we saw him mentally crack. And, not to take anything from Andre Ward, he did what he did, and he got the result that he got. But let's not pretend that we didn't see a man mentally crack in Sergey Kovalev in the second fight. Sergey Kovalev felt like he needed a knockout to win, and it was apparent that he wasn't going to get the knockout. And I'm not saying that's true or it's not true, but in his head, he thought he needed the knockout to win, because there was no way in hell he he wasn't going to get a decision in America. That's what was going through Kovalev's head. I'm not saying that's true, I'm not saying that's not, but that's just the way he was approaching this fight. And when the fight went on and on, and it became apparent that he wasn't going to get a knockout, and Ward started gaining more and more and more momentum, and starting to put that work on him, he just mentally cracked. That's not good. That's definitely a weakness, okay? However, in this fight, I don't think we have to worry about that. Because the one thing you have to have in order to beat Sergey Kovalev is a chin. If you don't have a chin, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get knocked out against Kovalev. Now, Shabranskyy, for his part, has a record of 19 wins, 1 loss, with 16 knockouts. He's a big light heavyweight at 6'3.5" and a 75-inch reach, according to BoxRec. Now, he's a fun fighter to watch. I've seen him grow and develop through the years with those Golden Boy cards that they have every month at the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino out in Neal Hills, or whatever it is in California. I've seen him get rocked by journeyman fighters who are naturally smaller than him, who usually fight at super middleweight, and stuff like that. So, even though I looked at him as a fun guy to watch, and a guy who has decent power, I always looked at him as someone that's very vulnerable, because that weak chin is a fact with this guy, and I was able to see it 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, when he was fighting these journeymen, and sometimes he would get tagged, and you'd see him get rocked. And I could just imagine a world-class guy hitting him, and So, sure enough, he finally took a step-up fight against Sullivan Barrera, and he ended up losing by knockout. Now, he's a fun guy to watch. He does have power, but he doesn't have the defense to compensate for his lack of chin that he has. I expect Sergey Kovalev to definitely win by TKO or KO. Granted, this is a great opportunity for Shabranskyy to win a world title and to pull off an upset, but the fact is, you need to have a chin in order to face a guy like Kovalev. And just for that reason, and for that reason alone, I have to pick Kovalev. This is going to be Kovalev getting back in the top of the light heavyweight division, and he's going to move on to bigger and better things. So that's my official prediction, and simply for that reason, you need to have a chin to face Kovalev, and Shabranskyy ain't got a chin. I have all the respect for both fighters. I have respect for every fighter. There's something different about you when you lace on the gloves and you step in that ring. So all the respect to both guys, but Shabranskyy doesn't get knocked out or TKO'd. He just ain't got the chin. It's really that simple. We don't need to go on complex breakdowns with this fight. That's basically what it's just going to come down to. And he doesn't have the skills or the wherewithal to consistently make it an inside fight or anything like that. He's actually longer and taller than Kovalev, so this is going to play right into Kovalev's hands. I expect Kovalev to work that nice, beautiful jab of his and start landing that power, and it's going to end with a KO or TKO. And, I will continue with my predictions and breakdowns. I kept it a little short. This was just the first one. And, this fight didn't require much talking to begin with. So, that's that. Peace. See you guys next time.